All right, what's going on, guys? Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. All right, I think I should be good with the microphone here. All right, hope you guys are doing good and happy Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I go live here on my YouTube channel, diving into a different topic that I think can be helpful to you guys here. Um, Let's see, in the past, we've talked about how to maintain muscle while losing fat. We've talked about the different supplements that I think can actually be helpful and which ones are a complete waste of money. We've talked about the biggest muscle building mistakes I've made over the course of my fitness journey. We've talked about how to make being in a calorie deficit be on easy mode, how to make it fairly easy to be in a calorie deficit consistently and lose body fat. This particular training, this video is about how to grow and strengthen your legs without even using a barbell. All right. Because in the industry, some of these barbell exercises are almost seen as uh like needed, right? Required. Like you have to barbell back squat, you have to bench press, you have to deadlift. And all of these movement patterns, of course, are excellent movements, right? You definitely should be doing some variation or multiple variations of a squat. You definitely should be doing one or multiple variations of a deadlift. You definitely should be doing one or multiple variations of a chest press. But the tool you use to do that doesn't need to be a barbell. Uh, and it's not significantly better or even better at all, right? We could argue about this. We could go back and forth about the pros and the cons of the different tools you use all day. But doing a bench press with a barbell is not better for building muscle compared to doing it with dumbbells. All right. And the same goes for lower body exercises for, barbell back squats. And again, I'm doing this video because a lot of my clients, maybe you're a client of mine, um, prefer to use other equipment. They prefer to use dumbbells, machines, free weights, cables. And and also that's the way that I've trained in recent years as well. I haven't barbell back squatted in 5 years probably, and it's not crazy to think that I might not ever do it again. And the reason for that isn't because barbell back squatting stinks or it's not good. I've had a number of back problems in the past. I've had several back injuries in the past. And many of them have come from barbell back squatting. Many of them have come from, various barbell work, even if it was a different exercise. And what I find is that I'm just at a higher risk of injury when I'm putting a barbell on my back, right? It's just a higher risk of injury compared to the alternatives that we have for training the lower body and doing squats or deadlifts or, any other lower body exercises. So for me, it's an uh, injury risk reason and play as to why I no longer barbell back squat and why I don't really have the desire to try it again anytime soon is because I know that I can strengthen my legs and grow my legs and get stronger in my lower body even without using a barbell. And that's what I've done over the last 5 or 6 years. I've definitely grown my legs and I've definitely strengthened them. They've always been a weakness of mine, but I've definitely improved them and strengthened them and grown them. And I've done it without barbell back squatting. So, and I'm not the only one who's done this. There's many other people, and there's tons of like competitive bodybuilders who have some of the best physiques on earth who are in the same exact boat. They say they may never barbell back squat again. They may never conventional deadlift again, and it's usually for them because of limiting the risk of injury as well. So this isn't just a me thing. This is many people who train for aesthetics and who train to get stronger fall into this category as well. So what I'm going to go over is some of my favorite ways to strengthen the muscles in the legs in this video. You can jot down some notes if you want. I'm going to go over my favorite glute exercises, my favorite quad, my favorite hamstring exercises, using all other types of tools and equipment, that have been really helpful for me and really made a difference for me, but also for my clients as well. All right. So so let's dive into it then. So I'm going to start with the quads because that's kind of the most popular muscle group in the lower body that people like to train. For me, probably my two favorite quad exercises are the hack squat machine and the pendulum squat machine. So I'm going to put this in the chat here. Quad exercises, hack squat machine, and pendulum squat machine. Let me know in the comments if you're watching the video on the replay or the live video. Let me know if you have ever used either of these. The hack squat machine, the pendulum squat, they actually look kind of similar. They're both really, really good. They allow you to go through a very full range of motion to really hit the quads. It's basically another variation of a squat. So it's not a back squat where you've got a barbell and free weights on your back, but a hack squat, the weight is still kind of on your shoulders, but it's on a pad and it's on a machine where you're actually back supported. So you're leaning against the back support and you can, in a very controlled and safe manner, squat as low down as possible. You can really go through a full range of motion as if you're squatting like ass to grass, as they say, and then all the way back up. It's an incredible range of motion for the quads. And I've used the hack squat for a decade. I've never once injured myself, not one time. And I've loaded it up. I've done as low as 3 reps, 3 or 4 reps. Not exactly maxing out for 1 rep, but going close to it, going very, very heavy. And because of the back support, the back supported pad, never one time have I injured myself doing the hack squat. And it's an excellent way to strengthen your quads. And it feels incredibly isolated. Like it really gets the quads at a really good way. The pendulum squat is similar. I might even argue the pendulum squat is a little bit more optimal as far as how it feels. I think it's a newer, I mean, I'm sure they've had them for a long time, but the ones that I'm seeing now pop up in various gyms are kind of a newer machine where like it's a huge machine where it's similar to a hack squat and you've got pads on your shoulders here and you've got handles right here to hold and there's a platform kind of in front of you that you can squat down, but it's created at an angle. The reason they call it a pendulum squat is because the weight is either out in front of you or behind you or both. And it's kind of in a pendulum pattern. So the range of motion and the path that you're squatting down with feels just like perfect. It feels absolutely as optimal as it gets. And again, that's another one that it has a back pad as a support. And I've never once injured myself doing that. And man, is it really, really hard and it really gets you. So those are some of my favorite ways to recreate a back squat without actually using free weights or putting a barbell on your back. Some other ones are, I mean, you could do a Bulgarian split squat or just walking lunges. These are both free weight exercises that I really, really love. And I like both of them because they're very versatile. The way that you position your body and your torso and your steps, your lunges when you're doing walking lunges, or the way you position your feet and your torso when you're doing Bulgarian split squats, you can hit a little bit more of the quads based on your foot positioning, or if you shift things very slightly, you can actually hit more of the glutes. So you're going to hit both regardless, but you can bias it to be a little bit more quad dominant or to be a little bit more glute dominant based on your positioning. So Bulgarian split squats, man, they're so hard. People say they hate them. They're the most hated exercise because they're really hard, but they're really effective. That's why people hate them. And that's why they're so hard, is because they're very, very effective. You could do them just body weight, and they are, still after 15 reps, 10 reps, depending on your weight and your fitness level, it's going to be hard. And you add any amount of weight to it, holding 20-pound dumbbells, holding 30-pound dumbbells, as light as 10 or 15-pound dumbbells, like it's still going to be noticeably harder. So, same with walking lunges. Again, like a really safe exercise that you can actually load up pretty heavy, in my opinion, with walking lunges. And if it ever is too heavy, you can just drop the dumbbells right by your side, and there's not much risk of injury there. So it also helps with balance, right? It's an exercise that not only helps you strengthen the quads and the glutes, and get stronger and build muscle, but it also helps work on balance, which is something that is a lot of the time overlooked. So yeah, so those are some of my favorite ways, and some of the exercises that I've used for the quads to help grow them. Also, just a simple old leg press, right? Leg press is a good solid exercise that I've used for pretty much my entire time since I started working out on day one, 13 or 14 years ago. It's always been an exercise I've included to some degree in my not in my routine every week or every month, but it's I've been using it since day one, which is always a good exercise to include. And also the leg extension machine. This might be the best machine of all time for isolating the quads, right? It's like this is one that I've been doing on leg days almost every time. With the exception of maybe if it's a hamstring or glute focused leg day. Maybe I won't do it on that day because, of course, this is it's just the quads. You're not hitting the glutes at all. You're not hitting the hamstrings at all. It's just quads. So as far as isolation exercises go, you might not beat that one. Really great, excellent way to strengthen and grow the quads. Anything that I'm missing? Anything that you'd add as far as quad training that doesn't include using a barbell? I mean, there's just plenty of other squat variations. There's like goblet squats, which I don't particularly love. You could do regular dumbbell squats with like the dumbbells just hanging by your side here, which I think I like a little bit better than goblet squats. Um, there's even what they call sissy squats, which are typically done as a body weight exercise. So if you train at home, that's a good one to look up. And basically, what a sissy squat is you're recreating the leg extension machine in a body weight form. So during the pandemic in 2020, when gyms closed down here in New York, uh, I was doing a lot of sissy squats to replicate the leg extension machine since I wasn't able to go to the gym. All right. So all of these are really great, and they will absolutely help strengthen your quads. And the idea here, guys, is no matter what exercise you're doing, no matter what tool you're using for that movement, you've got to make it challenging. You've got to choose a weight that is challenging, and you've got to do an enough amount of reps where you get close to failure. Okay. Like if you're training hard, you're going to be able to grow a muscle group and build muscle and get stronger. And it doesn't matter if you're doing that with a hack squat or a barbell back squat. All right. If you are training hard and making it difficult and training close to failure, you're going to be able to make progress. That's the idea here. And it's been proven time and time again for years and years and years. Now, let's go over some good hamstring exercises that don't involve using a barbell. So my favorite, or one of my favorites, is to start off with some isolation ones, is a hamstring curl machine. Now you can do that seated. I usually do the seated version, but they also have a lying down version. So a lying hamstring curl or a seated hamstring curl. Both are really isolated movements to effectively train the hamstrings and are really great options. All right. Let me know if you've done any of these or you include any of these exercises that I'm naming in your current program. Another one is a stiff leg um, RDL or deadlift. And you can do that with dumbbells, right? You could do that with a barbell or you could do it with dumbbells. Um, but since we're talking about uh, you could even do it with a trap bar, which is actually very underrated. I love the trap bar for that. And so the difference between like a normal RDL and a stiff leg deadlift is more hamstring dominant. So you're keeping your legs almost completely straight and mostly uh yeah, completely straight. There's little to no bend in your knee, and that's making it a lot more hamstring focused. Whereas an RDL, a typical RDL, there's a little bit more of a bend in your knee, which generally adds more glutes to the exercise. So, like an RDL is typically going to hit more glute for that reason compared to a stiff leg, like a true stiff leg RDL or a stiff leg deadlift, I should say, is going to be more of a hamstring dominant exercise. Now, again, like I said before, like many of these compound movements are going to hit both. They're going to hit multiple muscle groups, but the way you execute it, you can make it more quad dominant or hamstring dominant or glute dominant. And in this case, these two exercises, an RDL and a stiff leg deadlift, both done with dumbbells in this example, are very similar. And the average person won't even be able to differentiate them in the gym. The average person looking at someone doing an RDL next to somebody doing a stiff leg deadlift, the average gym goer isn't going to know that these two people right next to each other are doing different exercises. But like I said, the RDL generally has more of a bend in the knee and it ends up hitting more glutes. And the stiff leg deadlift, your legs are a little bit more locked out and straight, and you're hitting more hamstring. All right. And again, both really excellent exercises. Also, single leg RDLs or deadlifts with dumbbells. I really like single leg ones. I find that the risk of injury is much lower. Now, of course, if you practice proper form and proper bracing, uh, the likelihood you're going to get injured doing any exercise is not high, right? But what I find is that there are certain exercises that people tend to get injured at a higher rate doing, even if they're doing mostly the right form. And I find that single leg RDLs are probably a lower risk of injury because your one hand is free. You're only holding a dumbbell in one hand. The other hand is free to hold on to something if you need to. Not that people are falling over doing it, but you just have a little bit more I guess control maybe. I mean, it's a less stable exercise because it's single leg. So there is like a balance aspect to it. Um, but with the single leg RDLs as well, you can make it more more glute dominant or hamstring dominant. I find that when you hold the dumbbell in the same leg that is on the ground, so same side dumbbell, same side leg, it's more hamstring focused. And when you're holding the dumbbell in the opposite hand of the leg that's down, so for example, if my right leg is down and I'm holding the dumbbell here and I'm doing it in the opposite hand, I find that that's more glute focused because I'm having to brace. You can't see it here, but I'm having to use this glute to balance to counteract the weight being on the other side of my body. Hopefully that makes sense. I definitely didn't explain that too well, but I find that when you hold it in the opposite hand of the foot that's on the ground, it becomes a little bit more glute dominant. All right. Let's see. Some other good ones are like other variations of hamstring curls. Like you could do it on an exercise ball, right? An exercise ball curl, um, almost like you're doing a bridge kind of, but it's you're laying on the ground and your feet are up on an exercise ball and you're curling it into your body. Excellent exercise. Or like a Nordic curl is what they call it, I think, or a reverse Nordic is where you essentially have you're on your knees, you have your heels kind of anchored down, and it's a reverse. It's like a kind of a reverse exercise, like you're working the eccentric part of the exercise where you're resisting going down, you're resisting gravity, and when you get to the ground, you push back up and you start again, and you slowly lower yourself. Killer hamstring exercise, one of the best ones out there. Um, so yeah, let me know if you've done any of these. Leave it in the chat below if you've done any of these exercises. Let's go on to some glute exercises. So various forms of hip thrusts, right? Hip thrusts, you can do it with the machine, you can do it with dumbbells, you can do it single leg body weight, right? So how many of you at your gym has like a hip thrust machine where usually your back is on a pad and there's like a belt that goes across your stomach and you load plates on the sides and you can perform a hip thrust that way. Maybe the best way, or maybe my favorite way to train glutes and to recreate a barbell hip thrust, which might be the most annoying exercise of all time to set up, right? I'm not saying using a barbell in any way is bad or you shouldn't do it. I'm just giving you alternatives if you're like me and you prefer to not use a barbell for some of this stuff. Uh, I certainly do use a barbell for chest pressing sometimes. I did an incline barbell bench press the other day, but specifically for lower body, putting a barbell on my back or doing conventional deadlifts with a barbell where the weight's out in front of me. Like, I'm not trying to put myself in too many bent over positions like that with the history of my back. So, again, hip thrusts done with the machine, excellent. What you could do, which I don't like as much, but it's still effective, is get the heaviest dumbbell you can get your hands on, put it on your hips, and do hip thrusts that way. And then you could do a single leg hip thrust with your back against a bench or something. And believe it or not, they're still very challenging. Doing 15 body weight single leg hip thrusts, uh, it's hard. It's really hard. Even if you can hip thrust 315 pounds or something with the barbell, it's still hard to do it single leg. Really great ways to train the glutes. And then RDLs, of course. All right, like I just said before, RDLs, doing them with dumbbells or doing them with the trap bar. For me, I really like, and I mentioned this before, I really like the trap bar because it allows me to do some of these deadlift or RDL variations that I don't want to do anymore with a traditional barbell because the weight is distributed evenly around my body, right? What I don't like is doing a conventional or sumo deadlift where the bar is in front of me, all the weight's in front of me. That's what I don't love. Whereas I can do that same exact exercise. I can do RDLs or I can even do just conventional deadlifts with a trap bar where the grip is way nicer, way better, and way more comfortable because it's a neutral grip right by my sides here. And then the weight is distributed because of the nature of the bar evenly around you and in front of you. So I just find that that's a lot more comfortable, a lot more safe, way lower risk of injury. Um, I love it. It's a really great option. So doing RDLs with that or with dumbbells is a great way to train the glutes. Really is. Uh, just like some of what I said before, Bulgarian split squats can be great as well for glutes. The way that you would tailor it to be more glute focused is you would lean forward more with your torso while doing the Bulgarian split squat, and you'd likely have a slightly wider stance. So your foot would be slightly more in front, so that there's more ability. And as you're leaning forward like this, the glute is stretched out more when you lower yourself and into the Bulgarian split squat and back up. There's more ability for the glute to kind of stretch out. Um, so yeah, so that can be great. What else? Like any normal bridge, right? Bridges, you could do them body weight with your foot on a bench, foot on an elevation of some sort. You could do a single leg bridge the same way. What else? Hip thrusts, RDLs, Bulgarian split squats, bridges. You could do machines like a kickback machine. Most gyms, whether it's Equinox or Planet Fitness or Crunch or any of these normal gyms, have some sort of a kickback machine that targets the glutes pretty directly. Um, some of the other ones that I didn't mention yet for both the hamstrings and glutes are deficit lunges where you'd hold dumbbells and you'd elevate your front foot. So you'd put a 45-pound plate on the ground, put your front foot on that, and do deficit lunges or reverse lunges, even. So again, we've just listed like 30 exercises, 20, 30 exercises that all don't include barbells that are excellent for growing your quads, glutes, and hamstrings. Um, let's see what else. Even the hyperextension, the hyperextension, I guess it's not a machine. It's like a little what is it? It's like a little bench, right? It's like a you lay forward and can do hyperextensions, which really is known for the lower back, training the lower back, but it absolutely does hit like the whole posterior chain, which is the glutes, the hamstrings, and you can tailor your position a little bit to be a little bit more glute focused rather than lower back. That's an excellent one. I do that one every single week. Um, yeah, the truth is, like, I'm naming as many as a lot of the ones that I like. The truth is, you don't need a ton of exercises. On a quad focused leg day, you could do 3 or 4 exercises, do them hard, train close to failure, and that be a wildly effective exercise, a wildly effective workout. The same if you're doing a hamstring or glute focused leg day. You could do 3 or 4 exercises and have it be a wildly effective leg day. You could just have a nice balanced overall leg day where you're hitting all of the muscle groups and you're not focusing solely on or mostly on just the quads or the glutes or the hamstrings, but you're training all of them, and you could do 3 or 4 exercises and have it be wildly effective. So, we've got to get out of this idea, if you're still in this mindset, that you have to do 10 exercises or you have to do this exercise or that exercise or use this piece of equipment. You don't need to do anything. That's one of the great things about fitness and about strength training specifically, is that there's nothing you actually need to do in order to make progress and see results. You can build muscle in your legs. You can build muscle anywhere you want. You can lose fat. You can get stronger. You can do any of these things. And there's no exercise that you absolutely need to do or no piece of equipment that is required. All right. I've had people build muscle and get stronger training at a full service gym like Equinox, where they're paying $350 a month. And I've had people do it at Planet Fitness where they're paying $10 a month. They see the same results. And I've had people do it at home where they're training with just dumbbells and an adjustable bench, paying $0 for a gym membership, who have successfully gotten stronger and built muscle. And then I've had other people do it at home with no equipment, just body weight, paying $0 for a gym membership, paying $0 for equipment at all, just training at home with body weight exercises. All right. So hope this was helpful. If you have any questions on this, let me know. If you need help or would like me to design a hyper customized routine for you that will help you get stronger and build muscle and get in the best shape of your life here in 2026, and you'd like me to tweak it every couple months to make sure that you're making progress and seeing the results you want to see, check out the link somewhere. You can reach out to me in the link of this video somewhere, or the description of this video. I've also got some free resources for you down below in the description. If you want to get on my weekly email tips list, I encourage you to do that. Join a couple thousand other men who are motivated and who are on that list, and get weekly tips from me through email. The reason I'm doing that, and I'm kind of encouraging more to get on my email tips list and also my YouTube channel here, is because social media is sucking more and more. Specifically Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, like the short form platforms. I'll be honest with you guys, I hate. I really hate Instagram. I really hate Facebook. I really I think it's become more of a negative than a positive. Um, I used to think the opposite. I used to think it was more of a positive than a negative. Um, it's difficult to yeah, it's difficult. I like YouTube where I can post longer videos and actually share more in-depth information that are like more educational, rather than like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok are all about like the video is only going to get seen if it goes viral, right? It's only going to be good if it like gets a lot of views, and if you say crazy shit or say wild things to get a lot of views on it. And if you don't say or do crazy shit, almost nobody sees the video anymore. So it's incentivizing people, even in the industry, even in the fitness and nutrition industry, it's incentivizing people, influencers and coaches, to say ridiculous, crazy shit if they want to get seen. So I don't like that. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I actually try to share helpful educational information that I think can help you get healthier and get stronger and lose more fat and gain more muscle, and get on my email tips list, where again, I send out probably one or two tips each week to that list, and at least we can keep in contact that way. If I ever decide, you know what, I'm done being on Facebook and Instagram, we can keep in touch over email and over YouTube. But that's it for today. I go live here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for watching. Hope it was helpful. And again, if you have any questions on your own program or what you should be doing, reach out, send me a message or an email, and I'm always happy to see if I can help. All right, guys, have a good one. See you next time.